At the BGI Gem Lab, we investigate gemstones, and we try and use the scientific way of looking inside the stone, and we can work out from various means. We can actually work out what the atomic structure of the gemstone is, and you get to see these spectacular colours, but then you have to check whether or not this is real, made by the hand of God, you could say, or whether man has monkeyed about with it and changed that colour to suit his own needs and try and push up the price in an artificial way. That we have to find out. One extraordinary story which we had to sort out was we got a call from a department of state in Whitehall, and they had come into their hands a group of gemstones, and they'd taken it to one person who'd said they were not real, and they thought they'd just check with us if they were real or not. And these had been found being smuggled through Heathrow inside a book. This stone we have to investigate and check exactly what it's like, and our first port of call will be the microscope, and that way we can then see the structure and see if there are some telltale signs, because the contrast between natural and not is quite great. And we're going to be looking for curved growth lines, which would be a sign of a fake one, but not all of them are as easy to find as that. But the microscope is the first place to look, and if we find some signs of it being a natural stone, then those will be crystal growth lines, they'll be straight, and maybe zoning, and maybe intersecting lines at 60 and 120, and then you can tell that that would be the characteristic shapes and signs of this type of stone. One of the most intriguing things I've found, which isn't in books, I've never seen this put down, was when you hold a gemstone, particularly a white one, the classic white gemstone in a ring that lots of people have, and you hold it very still and just catch the light. It works particularly well in the sun, but if you have any halogen light bulbs that have a point source of light, and you just hold it very still and just catch a particular flash of colour, whatever colour that may be, and you just move your head very slowly right or left, you'll see that particular flash of colour sequentially go through the colours of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And how that works is you're looking down a tiny little rainbow fan of light coming from the stone. In fact, it will have many of those. You'll just happen to be seeing one. And each colour of the rainbow, red light being the slowest, and then they speed up slowly, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet being the fastest out of the group, is going through the stone at a different rate. So they then come out of the stone in a different place. And that's how you get this tiny fan of rainbow light, and it's a spectacular thing to have a look at. Your own private rainbow gemstone show on your finger, a great thing to see. I think the most exciting thing about the detection of gemstones, whether they're natural or not, is seeing ones that are either a fine example of the real thing, things that really have come from the ground and are extremely rare, a bit like finding a Van Gogh or some very rare thing that you know is very rare, and then seeing if somebody has tried to make one look like that, and you've got to find out whether or not this is one of the real ones or one of the very, very clever fake ones. And it can all rest on these tiny peaks in the spectrometer graph that can only be picked up by these very fine techniques. The days when you could just use a microscope and a candle have long gone. And so it's a bit of a shame that it's become so high-tech. But the cleverness of the chemists who work these things out is so extreme. They can literally build the atomic structure as a type of fake gemstone called moissanite that you'll have heard of. And that is not like the real thing, because it is actually splits up white light into two rays. It's doubly refractive. So they make it, cut it, so that when you look through the top, the C, or vertical axis of the gemstone does not have that. When you look at it from the side, every tiny speck of dust or a line on the back of the stone has a ghostly twin next to it, and you can then tell that this isn't right. And lots of times a shop will send us a stone in, and they say, we're terribly worried because we think this is one of this type of fake gemstone, and it's not the real thing. And in fact, they've misread the signs, and in fact, it's a perfectly natural stone. The customer's been in tears for days. Well, we got to look at it and then have the very good news that it's fine. You needn't have worried. Everything is okay.